trust Ferguson Roof Systems to replace your roof, we go the extra mile to protect your home and property. On every job, we deploy durable netting to protect your home's exterior and landscaping. It's just one more reason why you should call Ferguson Roof Systems today.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle back with you again. It is, about 10 minutes till 10 o'clock here on a Tuesday night. Hope your day went well. Hope you're ready for some changes coming up. Today's weather was pretty nice. I mean, we warmed up well out there into the 60s. It was some good stuff. I'll show you the temperatures here in just a minute. But thanks again for you guys checking in tonight. I see you out there on YouTube land. Nancy coming in from McCurtain County. Mean Okie's in the house. Cotton County, breezing in. I like it. Samuel's in the house as well. Good. You mean to tell me YouTube wasn't notifying you? That's terrible. I'm telling you what, man. Social media's gone nuts as far as letting you know when we go live now. The content creators, maybe there's too many of them out there for their servers to handle it. I don't know what's going on, but it is becoming a problem everywhere. Scorpio's in the house from Tulsa. Good to see you. So always, thanks for checking in. And Jim, I see you there from Mustang. Beach Bum, Paul's Valley's in the house in Creek County. How about that? You guys are all over the place. I like it. Rumble, thanks again for checking in here for tonight. Appreciate you tuning in on that platform. Eventually, we'll get Gab TV to go live. And still then, I just kind of update the video replays for right now. Twitter, always good to see you out there in the Twitter land, Twitterscape. And then on Facebook, of course. And I will post this link. You can select... at least have a workaround for Facebook when it doesn't behave. You can click on that link and it will give you a direct message from me when I go live that we don't miss anything there. But you have to opt in for that and kind of hit the button every now and then. All right, with all the housekeeping done, and I got to keep doing it because until the social media platforms play nice, it is what it is. All right, it's out there currently. I've got some clouds in my backyard, and so do you, because there's a lot of clouds out there all over the place. But it's not too bad on the chilly side. We're at 55 degrees. And yes, I got some raindrops showing in there on the screen on the bottom right side corner from my Tempest weather station, indicating we got a little bit of activity out there. We do look across the state. Temperatures this afternoon did warm statewide into the 60s and even some 70s down across far southern and southeastern Oklahoma. Like we mentioned, there has been a little bit of rain out there. Very, very light. But you can see it scattered about from western to northwestern to northern and northeastern Oklahoma. Here in the metro, we're kind of split in between. If you split the metro from the north side and the south side, it's basically just glorified sprinkles. It ain't anything too heavy. Now, later on tonight to tomorrow morning, there will be some heavier thunderstorms. Might even see a rogue severe thunderstorm. You're going, what? Yeah, a little hailer, a little supercell. It'll be an elevated supercell. In other words, not a tornado threat, but one that may produce a little bit of hail. So how about that? Otherwise, for tomorrow afternoon and evening, the bigger threat of severe weather will be across far eastern Arkansas, Louisiana, and elsewhere. But it won't be that big of an impact as it has been some of the other events. But kind of keep an eye out there. All right, so let's take a look at the big picture. This is the gesturing pattern. I'll show you the European model. See the big colors you see wrapping up here across the central plains here for tomorrow. That is the lift associated with our system that is coming on in. Now, unfortunately for us here in Oklahoma, the center of the low is up here across northern Kansas, so it's too far north to really give us a good old-fashioned downpour, but at least we'll get something out of it. And then here comes that secondary batch. There's a second storm system. Kind of weakens as it comes across the state during the day on Saturday. So we'll have a little bit of rain and snow with that one as it moves through. And then here is the next one that comes in for Monday night. Now, the models are having a horrid time after you go about 3 days out. Just so you know, we're in a transitional pattern, and while we're in this pattern, it's going to be chaotic in the data. Every model is going to say something different, and the same model itself won't even agree with itself 6 to 12 hours later. It's just the nature of the business. So the weather forecast is going to be one of these little fine-tuning events over the next few days until everything settles down. And then we get locked into a cold pattern. So this is the transition from the mild to the cold. Meanwhile, this one has dropped a little bit more down to the south versus if you watched my live last night during the halftime of the Dallas Cowboys win over the Buccaneers. Well, we mentioned quite a bit of snow with that on Monday. This little pattern here is going to shift it back to the west from us and not quite produce so much. We'll look at the output here in a minute. But as that one moves on by, the gesturing pattern stays kind of in this northwest to southeastern flow. So what that'll continue to do is bring in some more colder air down across Canada as this ridge of high pressure stays anchored out here to the west. We have a trough digging in to the north and west. That puts the squeeze play in, and that's what sets the stage as we head into that final week of January and of February, which will start to cool things down. Okay, so storm systems. Again, I mentioned we've got the one coming in for tonight, tomorrow, with some rainfall around the region, and you can see some heavy snow there across Nebraska, parts of Kansas and Colorado, even Iowa, as that moves on by tomorrow. That wraps up into the Great Lakes, so a big snowmaker for those folks. Then that secondary batch that comes in here for Friday night and a Saturday out across the panhandle of Texas. And then by Saturday morning, now moving into Oklahoma, see some scattered activity here across the state with some light rain, a little bit of snowflake action move in, and more significant snow, but still light across Kansas, Missouri with that system moving on by. And then as we talked about, that other one that was looking pretty good for Monday, now kind of shifted out in western Oklahoma, and not nearly as much on the ticket with that one. And then after that, there are still some more signals. There's a big batch of Arctic air that's rolling in across the northern plains. It says here on the 27th. Other models in the past, over the last few days, I've noticed, have been picking the 25th. So at some point, it's going to come down. But like I said, they're going to be kind of in a hodgepodge of wash tub magic, sloshing back and forth. All right, we do look at the overall trend. You can see the coldest stuff in temperature land, which is all the purples and whites and blues. Those are all temperatures well below freezing, sometimes below zero in that case, especially across Canada. So here's that 26, 27 period. There's that big push of Arctic air here across into the northern and central plain states. And then this particular model run didn't quite bring it into Oklahoma. Of course, I think that'd be a mistake, but we'll see. So we head into the rest of the month, though. It stays cold across the north, mild across the south. So Oklahoma's kind of on the dividing line. And, of course, Canada stays in the deep freeze. Now, other models in prior data sets we've looked at brings that whole kit and caboodle down south. So don't get excited. Think we're going to stay mild during this period. I don't think it's going to happen. But if you look at the European days, we talked about most of the snow concentrated out across the western parts of the state on into the panhandle over the next couple of systems for the weekend and then the following into Monday, Tuesday time frame. But if we do look at the Canadian model, it gets a little more excited about spreading more of the love across the I-44 corridor and then points north and west. And yes, there are some quite a bit heavier totals than that. And then finally, the American model still has a big heavy total of snow up here in the northwestern parts of the state, but otherwise not much happening here across the rest of Oklahoma. So the point is that snow, the signal is there, and we're going to have to kind of watch it closely, and it's going to move around. And of course, the amounts as far out as to talk about is ridiculous. Anyway, we're just looking at the signal to see what is potentially on the table. All right, so here is a look at the icon model, which I like a lot. And in the Saturday evening, Sunday time frame, you can see that mixture of rain and snow across Oklahoma, kind of confined across the northern half of the state, if you will, as far as anything significant or substantial. And then there's a look at some heavier snow. It doesn't give up hope for the Monday night, Tuesday time frame like the European did. So this kind of goes along with what the Canadian was trying to do. So it does still produce a pretty good significant batch of snow here across Oklahoma for that storm system. And remember, there's still plenty of time. So we still have lots of time to figure out if that actually materializes or not. When you do look at the snow forecast underneath it, I hadn't quite gone out far enough. It needs another 48 hours. I'll come back to that in the broadcast, see if it finishes. But if you do look at the European ensemble for signals of snow for the rest of the month, again, there's one here for about the 22nd. We have another one for the 24th. Looks like some kind of lingering in the 25th. Then we've got some here on the 28th. And then we got some here on the 30th. So the point being is when the patterns is chaotic, there's opportunities. And we love opportunities when it comes to that S word. Okay, let's talk about severe weather. Like I mentioned, tonight into early tomorrow morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, we have a little bump in the supercell composite parameter of the model indices here across east central Oklahoma between, say, around Norman up to about Tulsa eastward on I-40, kind of a little sweet spot right there. So what that does mean is that there may be a couple of thunderstorms that start to rotate aloft, which would produce some hail. And the models produce about an inch size hail if that were to be the case. Here's a close-up view. Again, we got the light rain moving through now across the state. And then here are some of those heavy thunderstorms. Here's 5 o'clock in the morning just on the east side of Oklahoma City. if I were to plot a forecast sounding forward to kind of show you what I'm talking about here, this isn't the most smoothest photograph in this particular example, but I'd see some that were much more smoother with a better shear profile, depending on the model and the location. But this is an inversion layer, so it's all elevated. So again, no threat for anything tornadic or anything, but could have enough instability for, like I said, for a little bit of hail within this environment. So that might surprise some of you at early in the morning hours. But to move on by, there's 6 o'clock. Tulsa getting some thunderstorm activity. There's 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock here, so some light showers still rolling through, 9 o'clock in Oklahoma City. I-35 corridor. Then that moves into the Tulsa area by around lunchtime, and then that starts to move out of there and out of the state by the afternoon. And then that is all she wrote with this system. So it's a quick moving deal. Most of it will be moving through tonight into early tomorrow morning. And rainfall amounts, in some cases, pretty decent. You get underneath some of those heavier thunderstorms. So this is about a ½ inch in blue here across parts and streaks of Oklahoma, kind of peppered across the north and the east. Other areas it's feast or famine, so therefore you can get pretty much nothing to some sprinkles, just enough to kind of get the ground wet and your windshield wet, and that's about it. Okay, temperature-wise, we go through the next few days. One more nice, well, I say semi-warm day, low 60s if we can muster it. Otherwise, we're back into the 50s for daytime highs on Thursday and Friday. Overnight lows will be staying into the 30s and upper 20s, looks like, for a while. The weekend a little bit on the chilly side, so we're not going to get as nice weather as we've been kind of accustomed to. And then the big question mark is what happens here in the extended. Lots of room for monkey business, which means some of these temperatures may be quite a bit colder, and also might have the case we've got a little bit of snowfall in there as well. Speaking of snow, let me refresh the icon model, see if it's come out any more in time. It has not. That is so lame. Okay, so let me go on to the real quick. Jared wants to know if there's going to be any rain for DFW tonight. Oh, just a little bit. And not enough to shake a stick at, unfortunately. You guys need some rain down there, that's for sure. But thank you for the stars, brother. I'm looking out for you for snow. You know, if that icon model was right, maybe a little bit of snow on that system early next week. David, thank you for the stars as well. Appreciate you. And Chayton as well. Thank you for the stars tonight. Let's see. Michelle, good to see you. Yes. Saying hi to the little kids. Jiraiya is always in the house with the big Papa Pump comment, so it makes me laugh. Ron, thank you for the stars as well. So I haven't shown the little ones, and I haven't even told Jody about this yet either. But Jody, if you want to bring the little ones in so we give them an update on Penelope and see how she's doing, you can. You have to give her a second to come in here because they're probably on the couch snuggling with her and quite content. So she's going to have to rustle her up. And I guess you should, I don't know if you're going to bring Larry, but I don't know if I can handle two at the same time. We'll see. So hang in there for a minute. Let's see. You guys on YouTube, always, again, thanks for commenting. I know, the allergies have been kind of bad off and on this past month. I don't get it. Sometimes it's fine. Other times I'm like, what is going on? All right, they're here. You asked for it. Come here. All right, here's Penelope. So, say hi. Oh, you're upset. You were comfortable, weren't you? And now you've been moved. All right, so this is little Penelope. You say hi, little camera? It's right there in the front. You go, hi. So she's getting a little lighter in the face. Her first haircut is going to be on Friday. And she needs it because she's basically a big matted ball of fur. Hair. That's right. Jody says, hair, it's not fur. So, actually, these dogs kind of have human hair. It gets greasy. But anyway, your face is lightening up, and don't let her sweetness right here fool you. She's a vicious turd. She is so mean to Larry. And I hate bullies. I so detest bullies. And I'm just looking at her going, why do you have to be that way? But she is a puppy, so I will give her a little leeway. But at some point, she's going to have to do better than that. All right, let's have Larry over here. Let's see if they'll coexist. Come here, buddy. All right. So can you guys coexist just for a couple of minutes? So far, they are. It's not always like this. But I will say this. Larry's 5. He still likes to play. And Penelope, of course, is constantly playing. And sometimes he's had enough, But sometimes she just dictates when they play and when they don't play. But every now and then he'll actually start it. And he's cute and sweet about it. She just pounces on him, stands on him, sits on him. He just takes it. He's the most docile thing. I know, and they do not like this close to one another. So, I don't know. They're going to have to play nice at some point. I know, buddy. He just doesn't like it because she's super jealous. And, of course, he's jealous because of her, and it just gets crazy. But this is what's happening with 2 teacup Yorkies in the Tuttle household. And trying to get them to play nice. All right, you did good. You did good, boy. All right, so I'll put these 2 down. Because remember, they're behaving right now. It won't last for longer than this. But, yeah, they're cute, though. I wouldn't give them up. So the plan, just so you guys know, obviously, it's a boy and it's a girl. You know what boys and girls do. So, we should have some teacup puppies coming up here in about a year from now. You're supposed to wait, for the first heat to go through and get them on the second. So probably about this time next year, if you're just dying to have a teacup Yorkie, because they are hard to find. Both of these came from Canada, and they are cute. Their parents are cute. Different sets of parents are. Just so you know, there's no inbreeding around here in the Tuttle house. But if you're interested, let me know. I'll put you on a waiting list. It's gonna be a long wait though. All right, let's see. I think that was it for me. Let me. While I'm looking here, I'll just refresh this icon model. Just curious to see if it. Oh, it did do something. Let me show you guys this. So, Gerard, if you're still watching from Jared, if you're still watching from Dallas, just show you're close. So, Dallas Fort Worth is right here, and this few counties just to your north and west. But at least, hey, snow's close, right? It's nearby. Anyway, this would be on that accumulation of that Monday night, Tuesday storm system that comes through. But it's only got a couple inches of snow here across central Oklahoma. It goes quite a bit, up to 3 or 4 once you get up to northeast Oklahoma. So, like I said, plenty of time to figure out what happens with this one. But hey, at least the signal is there. So you got to start with the signal, right? And then you can massage it over the coming days. So there you go. No inbreeding around here. Yeah, they are cute. But I always get asked, how are the pups? And you guys a lot of times will say hi to them. So every now and then we'll get we'll update you. We do update them every Saturday morning, just so you know. At least most of the time, I think we have on our Team Total Realty broadcast where we talk about the latest in the market trends and the topic of the day in real estate. So anything that revolves around buying or selling a home or anything about a home ownership, such as roofing. We're going to have all kinds of experts on for insider interviews, kind of tell you all the ins and outs behind the scenes and what you need to know. So we do that every Saturday morning, most Saturday mornings anyway, around 9 o'clock. We call it Coffee Talk, and we're half awake when we do it. I think we were in our pajamas when we first started the deal. That's how tired we were. But anyway. All right, so I'm going to get out of here. But you guys, thanks for watching tonight. Make sure you check in off and on throughout the week. We'll detail you more on the potential for the snow around here. And we'll see how cold it's going to get once these models start to settle down. Sometimes they're a little too premature on bringing the cold air. And other times they're right on the money. If they are a little premature, then it's usually a little delayed. And it can be delayed by as much as a week. So, for example, the coldest of the cold, although it might get a little taste for the 4th week of January, it might be the case where the biggest cold doesn't come until like the 1st or 2nd week of February. Just depends on how things evolve up around the pole and everything else. But I'll keep an eye on it for you. All right, well, thanks for checking in. Thanks for your comments, your likes, concerns, your follows, your likes. Telling your friends and family about AT's weather. And, of course, your support as always. And I appreciate you. And we'll talk again soon. Take care.